believe y'all don't care. I think y'all care about the drama around it. I do believe that, but I don't think you care about the events itself. And judging by ticket prices, neither does anybody else.
The WNBA Finals are supposed to be the pinnacle of the sport, a showcase of the world's greatest athletes putting everything on the line for a championship. But what if a title was decided, and almost no one cared enough to even show up? A shocking new reality suggests the league's most accomplished and celebrated stars are playing in front of empty seats, and the proof is so damning it could change the future of the sport forever. The league is facing a crisis that goes far beyond the court, and the silence from the stands is becoming deafening, revealing a bitter truth about who the fans are really there to see.
If ever there was proof that the Caitlin Clark fans / Fever fans are now the overwhelming majority of the fandom, look at ticket prices for finals games.
There are moments that expose an uncomfortable truth, and for the WNBA, that moment is a ticket stub. Imagine a WNBA Finals game, a clash of titans between A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces and Diana Taurasi's Phoenix Mercury. This isn't just any game, it's a battle between a two-time MVP who is arguably the best player in the world and the woman widely considered the GOAT of women's basketball. You'd expect tickets to be a hot, if not impossible commodity, right? Instead, you can get in the door for a measly $35. Let that sink in. $35 whole to watch a championship game. That's less than a night at the movies or a mediocre dinner. Photos from inside such an arena would show entire sections of vacant seats, a ghost town where a raucous championship celebration should be. This isn't just a slow night, it's a brutal verdict from the public, a sign that without a specific name on the marquee, the interest plummets off a cliff.
Game 1, the get-in price for Game 1 matchup between the Aces and the Mercury for a WNBA Finals game. Holy hell, there's $35 seats right there. Right there. Plenty of good seats available.
Now let's flip that entire script on its head. Imagine that same finals matchup, but instead of the Aces, it's Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever stepping onto the court. Suddenly, those $35 tickets vanish into thin air. They don't just increase, they explode. The get-in price skyrockets to $300, maybe even $500, just to get a nosebleed seat. Courtside seats, which were once readily available for other teams, are now fetching $5,000 apiece, sometimes more. The economic shift is so jarring, it's almost unbelievable. A recent poll asked fans if they'd be locked in watching a final series between the established powerhouses, the Aces and the Mercury. The results were an absolute bloodbath for the league's veterans. A staggering 96% of people voted hail to the no. The message from the market and the fans is crystal clear. They aren't just tuning in for the WNBA, they're tuning in for the Caitlin Clark show. This isn't just a business problem, it's a cultural earthquake that is fueling a firestorm of frustration and resentment behind the scene.
Look at that. Wow. $35 whole. This might be the best part of the video for the WNBA, because when you gauge the interest, to gauge the interest of this series, and it was ugly.
The women who built this league from the ground up are starting to speak out, and their fury is palpable. Two-time MVP A'ja Wilson, the undeniable face of the champion Las Vegas Aces, has publicly voiced her deep-seated frustration. She's worked her entire life to dominate her sport, winning every conceivable award, only to see the entire media spotlight swing entirely to a rookie who hasn't won anything yet. DeWanna Bonner of the Connecticut Sun has also been fiercely defensive of the league's veterans, tired of the narrative that the WNBA only just became relevant this year. They feel like their years of grinding, of winning championships, and of building the league brick by brick have been completely erased in the wake of the Clark media frenzy. This isn't just professional jealousy, it's a profound and deep-seated feeling of being rendered invisible in your own house, a house you helped build.
DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, and the Mercury in the finals against A'ja Wilson and the Aces. Will you be locked in watching this series? ? Yes or no? Hit the poll. 4% of brave souls said yes. 96% said hail to the no.
But A'ja Wilson's frustration goes even deeper, touching on the unspoken elephant in the room that has haunted the league for years, the issue of race. In candid interviews, Wilson pointed out a harsh reality, stating that the level of media adoration and corporate sponsorship being showered on Clark, a white player, is something black players like herself have never experienced, despite their dominance. She revealed that her own journey to becoming a marketable star was a long, hard fight. It's not always about the basketball, she hinted, suggesting that the media and corporations find it easier to rally behind a narrative that fits a certain mold. Her comments ripped the curtain back, exposing a volatile layer to this conflict. It was no longer just about a rookie versus veterans. It was about race, marketability, and the feeling that black women, who are the backbone of the WNBA, are consistently asked to do more and receive less in return.
Guys, if the Fever and Caitlin Clark was playing in a finals game, let's say against the Mercury, with all that drama around there, would there be a single ticket less than $300? Now, I mean, honestly, a single ticket less than $300. I don't think so. I think you'd have courtside seats go for $5,000. If Caitlin Clark was playing, if she was in these finals along with the Fever.
This simmering resentment didn't just stay in interviews, it boiled over onto the court in a series of shocking moments. From the day she was drafted, Caitlin Clark has had a massive target on her back. It started with Diana Taurasi's infamous warning that reality is coming, a comment that set the stage for a season of incredibly physical and often controversial plays against the rookie. The most blatant example came from Chicago Sky guard Chennedy Carter, who away from the ball leveled Clark with a vicious blindside hip check, sending her crashing to the floor. There was no apology. In fact, Carter later doubled down on social media and refused to answer questions about it. While some old school defenders called it a welcome to the league moment, millions of new fans saw it as something far more sinister, a cheap shot, a blatant act of bullying aimed at the league's new cash cow. This single play became a flashpoint, defining the us versus her narrative that has split the fan base right down the middle.
You are not invested. You are not interested in watching this BS transpire on your television sets.
The league's response to these incidents was just as controversial as the fouls themselves. As the Carter incident blew up online, the WNBA found itself in a PR nightmare. They eventually upgraded Carter's foul to a flagrant 1 and fined her, but the damage was done. The league also fined the Chicago Sky and player Angel Reese for refusing to speak to the media after the game, a move that only made the situation look worse. It appeared as if the league was trying to protect its new star, Caitlin Clark, but its clumsy handling of the situation only fueled the narrative that the other players were being villainized. The league was caught in a trap of its own making, try to control the narrative and look weak, or let the players police themselves and risk alienating millions of new fans who were disgusted by the on-court aggression. Just when the tension seemed like it couldn't get any higher, a bombshell decision was made that sent shockwaves through the entire sports world. Caitlin Clark was left off the 2024 USA Olympic basketball team. The official explanation from the committee was a desire for veteran experience and pre-existing team chemistry, but to millions of her fans and a significant portion of the media, the move reeked of gatekeeping, cronyism, and outright jealousy. The decision was seen not as a strategic basketball choice, but as a punishment. It felt like the old guard, threatened by her unprecedented popularity, was using its institutional power to put her back in her place. The snub dominated sports headlines for weeks, turning a behind-the-scenes league drama into a full-blown national controversy, and further cementing the belief that the league's establishment was actively working against its biggest and most marketable star. This firestorm wasn't just happening in a vacuum, it was being amplified and weaponized by the sports media machine. Pundits like Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee seized on the controversy, dedicating entire segments of their shows to debating every foul, every comment, and every bit of drama. They weren't just reporting on a story, they were fanning the flames, turning a sports debate into a culture war. Every physical play against Clark was dissected frame by frame, with analysts arguing over whether it was just tough basketball or a sign of a league-wide conspiracy. The media realized that conflict sells, and the narrative of Caitlin Clark versus the WNBA was ratings gold. In doing so, they poured gasoline on an already raging fire, ensuring the division would only grow deeper. As the players battled on the court and the media fanned the flames, a civil war erupted among the fans online. Social media platforms became toxic battlegrounds, where Clark stans clashed viciously with longtime hardcore WNBA supporters. New fans accused the veterans of being jealous bullies and labeled anyone defending them as haters. In response, the longtime fans accused Clark's followers of being bandwagoners who didn't respect the league's history, with some even resorting to ugly accusations of racism and misogyny to dismiss the criticism. This digital warfare showed that the division ran much deeper than just the players. It was a cultural clash between a new massive fan base and the established community that felt its league was being hijacked. This brings us back to the most dangerous question of all. Is the WNBA actively sabotaging its own golden opportunity? The league is experiencing a surge in viewership, merchandise sales, and overall relevance that it has never seen before, almost entirely on the back of one player. Yet, instead of fully embracing this tidal wave of new interest, the internal politics, veteran resentment, and on-court hostilities are creating a deeply negative perception. While Fever games are selling out arenas nationwide and commanding sky-high ticket prices, other games, even those featuring incredible talent, are still struggling to fill seats. The intense, drama-filled focus on one player is threatening to overshadow the rest of the league, creating a bizarre reality where the WNBA is both more popular and more divided than ever before. It's also crucial to understand the perspective of veterans like Diana Taurasi. When she said reality is coming, it wasn't just a threat, it came from a place of having seen it all before. For 2 decades, she has watched hyped-up rookies come and go. From her point of view, the league is a tough physical grind, and survival requires more than just shooting talent and media hype. Is she a villain trying to tear down the new star? Or is she a hardened gatekeeper trying to preserve the league's identity of toughness and resilience against what she perceives as a media-driven frenzy? To a player who has fought for every scrap of recognition the league has ever received, the idea of handing the keys to the kingdom to a rookie after just a few months might feel like a betrayal of everything they worked for. So here we stand, at a chaotic and historic crossroads. On one side, you have the established superstars like A'ja Wilson and Diana Taurasi, the pillars of the league who feel disrespected, forgotten, and even villainized. On the other, you have a rookie phenom in Caitlin Clark, an unstoppable force of popularity, who is single-handedly rewriting the league's financial future. The empty seats at one game and the sold-out arenas at another aren't just about ticket sales. They represent a deep and bitter divide that touches on everything from race and respect to media manipulation and fan loyalty. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's a full-blown battle for the heart and soul of the WNBA. The league has been gifted a once-in-a-generation opportunity for mainstream relevance, but it's trapped in a civil war between its past and its future. The question is no longer if the old guard and the new sensation can coexist. The real question is, will this internal conflict be the very thing that tears this golden era apart before it even truly begins?